What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back, ready to talk some hoops. Thank you very much for tuning in. And today, I want to let you all know that James Harden is going back to the LA Clippers. He had a player option for $36.3 million, and he is declining it, and he intends to sign a 2-year-long contract worth $81.5 million. So I'm not sure if this is, I believe the last contract he signed with the Clippers was also a 2-year deal, with the second year being a player option. I'm not sure if this deal is also going to have a player option in the second year, so that he can so he can decide whether or not he's going to actually activate that option and come back to the team. I would imagine they might give him that flexibility, but I'm not sure. All I know right now is it's a 2-year deal, $81.5 million. He averaged 22.8 points per game last season, 8.7 assists, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.5 steals in 34.8 minutes per game over 79 games. So, had a really good year. I just don't think we're ever going to see like the Houston James Harden ever again, where he was putting up like 35 and 15. I don't think that's going to happen on a nightly basis anymore. We're probably not going to see him dropping 60 and 65-point games. Like it's probably just not going to happen. But I also think about is he ever going to win a championship? Because I personally, I always midway through the season or right before the playoffs start, I'm like, the Clippers are good. They're really good. Maybe this is their year. And then it always winds up just not being their year, and they get out in the first round or something. So I just feel like at this point, I'm not sure if James Harden is really playing, for a championship, or if he's just playing because he likes to play the game of basketball. I think either one is fine. But I just don't really know if he's going to win a title with the Clippers, especially with how inconsistent Kawhi's availability is. I just don't know what's going to happen. They would have to bring someone there that is going to, be able to really help them. Although they do have a talented roster, and most of the guys that were on the team this past season will be there next season. They're under contract for the most part. Only Amir Coffey and Nick Batum are, kind of the question marks. So you also have Patty Mills, who's a question mark, but we'll see what happens. Is Patty Mills even still on the Clippers? I feel like he is, but maybe I'm thinking, no, he's still on the Clippers. I was like, is he still there? Yeah, he's still there. So, I don't really know what's going to happen here. They did draft some center in the draft. It's 6'10" dude. I'm sure he'll be helpful, but he's not going to put him over the hump, especially in the West. So I don't know. Maybe the Clippers finally realize that this team is not really doing it for them, and they start trading pieces. That could be a good thing to do. If I'm the Clippers, I'd probably start trying to, market Kawhi and James Harden and see what I can get for him. Even market Norman Powell and, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Zubats. You should really think about, maybe trading all these guys. They're kind of, over 30 or getting close to 30. Zubats is the youngest one in that group at 28 years old. So they don't have a ton of young players. They have Cam Christie. They have Kobe Brown. Ben Simmons was, with the Clippers a little bit this past season, but his contract's up. So who knows if we'll even see him in the NBA again? Who knows? So this team has a lot of question marks. I'm a big fan of James Harden, and I like watching him play. I just don't think this team is very serious about winning, and it makes it not as fun to watch a team when they're not really, all in it, right? And I feel like at times they are, but a lot of times it just feels like they're not. And that could just be me. That's my opinion, but that's kind of how it feels. And I thought it was a really good matchup in the playoffs against Denver. I just felt like they kind of gave up in Game 7. So that was that. But it seemed very, Clipper-esque, in a sense, which I hope they can turn around. I really do just think they got to start fresh, start trading guys. Obviously, they don't really have that many of their own draft picks. Oklahoma City basically owns the Clippers at this point. And I think you just gotta kind of like, bite it and see what you can do. Maybe get some young guys through trades. Maybe get a guy who's a budding star in his second year, that team's not super high on, and kind of turn him into something else. I think Ty Lue is a great coach. I think L. Frank is a good GM and, overseer of the whole basketball operation going on over there, but like they gotta try something new. It's just clearly not working. I feel like they've tried to retool it a couple times. Like, you have Paul George, and then you bring in Russell Westbrook, and then you bring in James Harden. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't think it's working. I think you got to shift your focus. So that's the news. James Harden going back to the Clippers on a 2-year deal, and we will see how they fare in the rest of the offseason and going into the 25-26 NBA season. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to check you guys later, man. Stay up, stay blessed, stay safe, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.